It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, everyone. I am Ramona Ramirez. Margie, it is so great to see you. I was almost in tears right before, I hit record, I teared up, and then we started talking. So I just love you.
I love you,
I just don't know what I would do without seeing you every Wednesday. Like, it's hard for me to fall asleep at night because I know we're going to get to be able to do this, which I should work on because then I won't have to be texting you before we're starting going, oh my God, I need 10 more minutes. Anyway.
It's so not a big deal. And 10 minutes is nothing because then we get on and just like talk we basically just like have an hour-long coffee together before we start, which is so helpful because then I can focus on these Vanderpump Rules dopes.
We can. I was so grateful. Again, I watched it on. I watched the Bravo version, the one on Hulu, and then I watched the Peacock one. And thankfully, the Peacock one was not super long like last week. Yeah, I feel like my notes this week weren't as robust, but there were the very last scene. I know we'll both have a lot to chat about.
For sure.
The scene between Joe and Schwartz. That was.
Yeah, last week was sort of like a Sandoval's a piece of shit episode, and this week is like oh, wow, in case there was any question.
Schwartz is also
a piece of shit. Just an untreated person, maybe not a piece of shit at heart, but like when you're 40 and you've done no work on yourself, you just cause wreckage in every direction. And it's really like lack of courage is so damaging and unattractive.
It truly is. And he goes to such lengths in the vein of not hurting someone, and then he ends up causing just so much more damage.
And he never settles in to say, you know what? I'm so sorry. It's always just like, oh, look, the dogs are coming for you. Hey, Joseph. It's just always deflecting and like these like weird performances of like, oh, just a cutesy little boy who made a mistake. It's like, you're too old for that shit. That flies in your 20s, but like not now, buddy. You've been divorced. So like you should know some shit. You should have learned some shit.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
I agree.
So, because Katie divorced him. She did all the work. So he's still just like, oh, my wife divorced me. It's on my nerves. Should we start at the beginning?
Yes. This is Vanderpump Rules, Season 11, Episode 11. And the episode is titled, I don't like this one. I'm not a fan. May the best woman win. I don't know. Are we talking about Ariana versus Lala? Are we talking Katie versus Schwartz when it comes to Tori? What are we talking about? But let's not contribute to the misogynistic notion of pitting women against each other. Let's just not do that. Let's not do that one. I don't like it. No. Unless I could be missing something, but
no, not their best work.
Anyway.
The only thing that occurred to me was Tori, and that's just like exploitation and stupid. Because that whole thing seemed like a played out storyline, like a producer storyline. Just like you found a willing 24-year-old who's thirsty to be on camera, and Schwartz and Katie who seem to like to punish each other. So this just feels like it fed into just like the ugliest part of that relationship, and then just exploiting this like 24-year-old girl. Anyways, we'll get there. We start at the beach.
I want to point out, for some reason, I just was watching the credits. I don't know why but just lest anybody forget, because I knew, but just seeing it in front of my face, kind of woke me up. Ken, Todd, and Lisa Vanderpump are executive producers on this show. Not just producers, they are EPs. They have more say than probably anybody. They have a fuck ton of say. Agreed?
Oh, for sure.
In your
I feel like Lala is LVP's surrogate because she seems to be doing
so.
It just seems like Lala's not having a season of her own. It seems like she's being directed and enjoying it.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to starting shit with the other girls.
I just don't understand. Whatever. We'll get into it. It's yucky. We return same day. We're still at the beach. And we pick up with Brock telling Ariana that Sandoval feels castrated, which I was like, yes, and?
I know. That sounds about right. As he should. Because
It's
he
been,
did
again,
violence with his dick. That's what
he
got us all
did.
here.
It has been weeks since this has all been revealed. It has been weeks. That's it. It's been weeks. And these people that are her friends are urging her to, quote unquote, move on. I'm just flabbergasted. And the only thing I can think of, and then I will be quiet because I'm sure you have a lot to say on it too, is that it takes a lot of work and energy to be uncomfortable and sit in unknown. It is probably human nature to want things to be wrapped up because it's terrifying when you don't have answers. It's terrifying when you can't see the finish line and know what's going to happen once you cross it. It's terrifying to not know if there's a finish line. So all of these people, even though they're not in it except for peripherally, and yeah, they need to know where they stand with their friends and they're all working together. I understand that. But you would think that someone who is 5 years into her sobriety, and again, when I say sobriety, I'm talking about the definition of sobriety that Lala has admitted to having. I know from my own experience with being in 12-step rooms, again, I will remind everyone, Al-Anon, Alateen, Overeaters Anonymous, Codependence Anonymous. I dabbled. I went a few times. I never really worked that program because it was terrifying. I'm not going to lie to you. That one was gnarly. SLAW, Debtors Anonymous. Like, sobriety doesn't just mean you no longer use the behavior that room is named after. Like, just because I wasn't abusing laxatives or throwing up or binging and purging or starving or being orthorexic, doing any of that shit, just because that behavior was gone, my mind was still in the throngs of my disease, quote unquote. And so until you get clean in your thinking, or at least want to get clean in your thinking and are working on getting clean in your thinking and have it in your habits now to make direct amends wherever possible. Like when I would hurt someone or make a mistake that hurt someone, like, was I owning up to it in a timely fashion? Was I, for the most part, maneuvering through my life without causing wreckage in my wake, without leaving people hurting or just behaving anyway? So if she's doing what I know is outlined, then in my opinion, and in my observation, in my experience, I don't think that she should be as involved or emotionally invested as she is. Now, if she is an LVP plant, then she's just shown up to work. But also, if you're working a really strong recovery program, whether it's in or outside of 12-step rooms, that's just what my history includes being in and out of 12-step rooms for over half my life. It includes therapy for well over half my life, whatever other kinds of modalities that I do now. How Lala is behaving is not what I would consider, in my experience, in my opinion, to be of someone that is working a threefold program: a physical, emotional, and spiritual program. And I will say that I found it very interesting that after last week's episode, a lot of people on Reddit who were in recovery kept bringing up the term dry drunk when referring to Lala. They're like, she's a dry drunk, she's a dry drunk, she's a dry drunk. And they would explain that, again, what I just said. Take the alcohol out, it doesn't matter. Oftentimes, when the absence of the behavior is gone, the thing, like, if you're an alcoholic and you take the alcohol away, a lot of the alcoholics in my life, when they weren't drinking, but they weren't working on the things that made them want to pick up the alcohol, they were infinitely fucking worse because they didn't have their crutch. They didn't have their coping mechanism, which was the booze. I just found it interesting that she's blaming and making opinions and inserting herself where she doesn't belong. It's not her business.
It's
What?
interesting because
Yeah,
I was just thinking, I haven't heard her talk about 12-step rooms like in a while. Like, I
that's
wonder if
true.
she's chosen a type of sobriety that doesn't involve that path anymore. Because I'm with
Mm,
you. It's glaringly obvious that, like, she's not in the steps. They're the 10th step, the 10, 11, and 12 are considered the maintenance steps. And the 10th step is like, take a daily personal inventory. And when we are wrong, promptly admit it.
Right.
And there's none of that in her behavior. And then there's like daily instructions to like, ask for help, to have your thinking divorced from self-seeking and self-pity and fear and selfish motives. And like all Lala is doing is all of those things. So I guess my point is there's different kinds of sobriety, and
that's true.
the 12-step rooms are based on attraction rather than promotion. And I'm with you. I don't want what Lala has right now.
I don't either.
Because she is, thank God, the substance is out of her life. So she's a safer person. She's a reliable mom. All of those things are great and in place and are not to be knocked, but like there is something missing on like the spiritual, emotional side. That's just, she's still kind of, I don't know. She's like mean and judgmental. And like that to me doesn't feel like emotional sobriety. That
Absolutely
still feels
not.
like, at least with the alcoholics in my life, that was part of their disease, is being mean and judgmental.
Right.
So I guess now they're not slurring. She's not like slurring while she's doing it, or like, but it's still ugly. Ugly behavior.
It's really it seems, I was going to say it seems incongruent from when she was throwing out terms like Bambi-eyed bitch, or do you want to get popped, and then making like pew pew, like gun shadow puppets. But yeah, I don't know her end game. Lots of rumblings about the reunion this
I'm
week.
so curious.
I am so curious too. And I just feel like, again, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me for the fucking millionth time. How many times have we heard a reunion's going to be something to see and it's not? I mean, who knows? The Potomac reunion seems to be a lot more interesting than the entire 18 weeks we saw preceding it. So, in my opinion.
Who knows? But I can't wait to see, because it's getting really messy. This episode, I just kept thinking like everything is so messy and like
truly messy.
Yeah. And it's sort of like a little red herring at the beginning here, because we start, like you said, back on the beach, and Schwartz is taking Tom to the bar so as not to jeopardize. Schwartz is taking Sandoval to the bar so as not to jeopardize the vibes of the day. And then Sandoval asks, was Ariana emotional? And it's like, are you asking that? Are you for real right now, sir? Again, remember how you talked about all casual, like going to a singles event after just like, again, all casual, destroying her life, and how you claimed ownership of the house because she mentioned an adoption fee. Like, yeah, I think she probably got emotional, dude. Like, he's just such a monster. But that's sort of like, then he wafts away for the rest of the episode, and it becomes a real like Schwartz expose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we already touched on this, but I felt like it sucked that Ariana had to basically tell Lala over and over and over, simmer down, please stop talking about what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very proud of her for doing that. Yeah.
I mean, this episode kind of devastated me. I'm jumping ahead a tiny bit, but we can go back. Like when Ariana sits with the girls at the cafe, and they have this like incredibly like heartfelt moment where it appears everyone understands everyone. Lala has tears in her eyes asking Ariana about unresolved feelings toward Tom. And Ariana very honestly, without hesitation, says yes. And I know the amount of anger I'm feeling is not healthy. And Lala understands that like you feel like you gave everything to this person and they just threw you away like a piece of trash. And Ariana crumbles into tears, and Sheena suggests that she wished Tom would just take ownership, and Ariana says that's never going to happen, which is more sadness for her. And this is them sort of gently urging her to get out of the house for the sake of her happiness, they claim. And Ariana says, you're right, I should get out of the house. Like this moment felt like three friends who like actually love and support each other.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, we can get to it, I guess. But Ariana also talks about in her confessional that she keeps her armor up because it is traumatic. What happened mere months ago is traumatic. And she's trying not to involve other people in her mess. But it's like asking someone with a broken arm to do a cartwheel. Like, just do it. It's like, but I don't have a cast on yet. like it's a compound fracture. There's bone piercing through my skin. Like I can't just do a cartwheel, guys.
Right.
Like I can't just move out of the house because I'm not even sure what happened. I'm still, and it's also that thing of like to ask the betrayed person to be the bigger person as a, having been on that side, it's just like, I don't want to. I didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong. And now I have to
That
do everything to support my
right.
own happiness again. Like it takes a while to come around to the fact that that is the only way out. But it takes a while.
It does.
To not dig your heels and be like, fuck that. I didn't do anything wrong. I shouldn't have to lose anything more than I've already had to give up.
Right. Right.
And then have that
And that,
asshole sitting
yeah,
there just being like,
so
well, then
hard.
that's the only thing you paid for. Such
It's
a
so
piece of shit.
hard.
Hate him.
It's so hard.
Anyways, sorry, I skipped some of the
No, it's fine. I mean, it's all in the same episode. So, God, this was all just so messy and such lack of clear boundaries. And Katie and Schwartz's just hanging out in the same friend group is making me more uncomfortable, I think, than seeing Tom and Ariana hanging out in the same friend group right now. And it again, I acknowledge that they are at work. They are castmates, but they also were married. It's messy, like you said. It's just real. It's real messy. I thought it was really kind of Katie to call and say, "Your shit is here." And he's like, "Oh, thanks." She's like, "Listen, I'm not bringing it, but it's
I
here."
loved
But
that. They love
again,
to just like
yeah, you're
torture
right.
each other.
They
It
do.
makes me
They
laugh so
do.
hard.
And the thing that I can say is that on the torturing each other thing, I can imagine that neither one of them felt empowered in their relationship. I can
Clearly, she said your
in
dick doesn't work on camera.
yeah.
Like it was a really
He
like
said
they took
right.
talk about castrating each other.
They did.
They cut each other's dicks off on a weekly basis for years. Like it was
They did.
gnarly.
It was gnarly. And they fought. They fought not just dirty, they fought like filthy. I think there's probably, at least still on Katie's end, I can see in a perverse way where it might feel empowering to be able to get those digs in.
Oh,
You know?
I think
I don't know.
it reads on
I'm
her
not
like a
saying it's
high.
healthy. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying, it might be a thing.
I think she's getting high off of it. I think this whole episode is just her just taking digs, and it makes like it is filling her up like, with the same like impenetrable esteem that a line of cocaine does. It's just like,
Exactly.
yes, I
Yep.
fucking got him and I feel like
Yeah.
impenetrable.
And it doesn't last. That
No.
kind of stuff doesn't last. I wish it did.
But while
wish
you're,
it fucking did.
again, as they say, it works till it doesn't. So like
It
while you're
works
getting
until it
high and it's
doesn't.
working, it's so good.
Right. Right.
I also
Ew.
wanted to point out in this, because it comes up a million times in this episode, Tom Sandoval, like, he has a real money thing. He uses money and gifts to like manipulate and control the people in his life, because this whole argument at the beach, he reduced to money. Ariana paid one bill, which was to like get the dog, and he pays for everything else. He found the house. And it just reminds me of all the times he's brought people gifts. Remember earlier in this season, he showed up wearing sunglasses and like gave them to James because they looked cool on him. He's just constantly spending money. He bought Richella, like he's just always turning it out, but it's not for fun and for free. It is with expectation. He feels owed and he feels entitled. He feels entitled to like you keeping his secrets. He feels entitled to any property. Like it's a fully transactional relationship. Every relationship Tom Sandoval is in. And even in this episode, we meet his new assistant, which is just such fucking bullshit.
Oh my God.
And he shows up at paintball, this new assistant, and at the singles night. And I'm just like, I know what happened here. You hired this guy and then you said, hey, do you want to come? I'll pay for you if you want to come. And this kid is on his payroll. So he's like, I don't want to lose my job. So you say yes to the boss. And now Tom will feel owed. But I was a great boss. I brought you to paintball. Nobody fucking wants to go on their day off with their goddamn boss to paintball. Anyways, it was like threaded throughout this episode how manipulative Sandoval is with money, down to the confessional where, again, he talks about pens and batteries. I'm like, wow, you are nickel and diming your fucking life, dude. You are gross. He is gross.
He's so
He's
gross, dude.
just,
He's just disgusting. He's so gross. And it's gonna get worse because everything is progressive, you know? Like, if you don't wrangle in your proverbial demons, they just get more emboldened. Emboldened? Is that a word? Is emboldened a word? Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking A. I walk in this booth and all of a sudden I forget everything.
Yeah, no, and it is
Yeah.
getting worse. This like weaponization of
Yes.
generosity
Oh,
to
God.
seem like the good guy, no matter how immoral and destructive his behavior is. It's so flagrant now because like you said, it's progressive. His behavior is getting more immoral and destructive. His spending is getting more out of control. And it's just it's a gross, sad dynamic. And he can't see the
So
flaw in
sad.
it. He doesn't see the
So
flaw in it.
sad.
It's
No, he
weird.
doesn't. It is weird, completely. We have just codependency upon codependency here. So they all go to the same bar on Venice Beach on the boardwalk. And at some point in this scene, Sheena, in her confessional, shares that her 24-year-old former nanny is, she wanted to set him up with Schwartz. And so she's quasi in the friend group, but quasi not in the friend group. I don't understand anybody's motive. Again, I am watching a show. Again, Lisa Vanderpump is an executive producer. Again, Sheena is Sheena-ing. But I was just so repulsed by watching it all. I think that looking back on this title, May the Best Woman Win, I think that the editors or the writer of that title was trying to say, Katie Maloney wins. This is Katie Maloney, quote unquote, winning, because I don't know. This whole thing with Tori seemed so fucking fabricated. I didn't see chemistry. I didn't see any chemistry at all between Tori and Schwartz or Tori and Katie, especially during that kiss. I just didn't. Tori can say, "Oh my God, you're so hot." I think she's batting around Schwartz like a little mouse because he makes it so easy. Like, are you going to ask me on a date? Or are you just going to keep sending me fire emojis? And it's just
Yeah,
gross.
this
I don't want to see
storyline,
any of it.
no, and it felt so written. I think you're right. Like, this is the most produced episode I feel like we've seen in a while in terms of like stories shoved down our throats and in our faces. I'm with you. I just don't believe any of it. Everyone had to be so wasted to kiss. So I just don't believe that there's any like, I don't know. Schwartz makes me so sad. This is how he is the whole episode. When Tori says, "Are you going to ask me on a date or what?" And he's like, "Oh, sure, I guess we'll go on a date." Like everything, he never makes any decisions. He
No.
always, but it's a manipulative thing. He lets everyone else around him push him into a life. But that, if you want to go on a date, go on a date. If you don't, say what you mean, but don't say it mean. Politely decline. Like he has no. And he knows he's taking no agency. And that's the part that I hate the most because then he can blame anyone and everyone all the time. And he is always, he's always just like a fart in the wind getting blown around. Anyways, there's one little moment here that I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
This just like tiny thing in passing that happened. Brock and Allie are playing ping pong and Brock asked Allie, "Do you have any siblings?" And she said no. And he goes, "Well, how was that growing up?" And she goes, "I loved it." And I just want to say, because I have a few friends in my life who worry about not being able to, many who have tried and some who have not, but some, in either case, they're worried about not having a sibling for their child. And I just like Allie is probably the best person on this show right now. She's a great example of like the victory of an only child. There's no guarantee if you have a sibling, it's going to be a good one anyway. So like, I don't know. I was just happy they included that because there's no damage done when, you're a good parent to an only child. So
I'm really glad that you brought that up because the mom guilt never stops, doesn't fucking matter. And yeah, Leo will be like, "Man, I wish I had a little brother. Can I have a little brother?" And mom, "No, you may not. You may not. Absolutely not." And the plan was always to have one. And yeah, there is something to be said. Oh God, I hope my kid doesn't feel lonely. I know that my
but you
mom was
can
an
feel
only
lonely if you
child.
have a sibling
You know
and
what?
you
You're
can feel
absolutely
annoyed
right.
all the time. Remember?
All the time.
There's someone
And
always up your ass and in your space. And
completely.
there's such gifts to it. I wouldn't trade my experience just because of the household we were raised in. I needed a witness to that, whatever. But I was so glad that Allie, without hesitation, just said, I loved it.
Yeah. Like, as in, like, how could you even ask me that question? Like, that is
Exactly.
the stupidest question I've ever heard. Yes.
There's not even a multiple
Allie,
choice here. It's just like, yes, I loved being an only child. Next.
she's so genuine. I
Yeah,
really was so charmed by her this whole episode. You're
me
absolutely right.
too.
But yeah, you're right. So I'm really glad you brought that up, Net. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I had another note, like when they move in the back, we're participating in a fundraiser for my kids' school. And not this weekend, but next weekend. People paid money to start at one house up the street, my friend's house up the street. It's a bar crawl, but we're going from backyard to backyard, and the theme is dirty dancing. So where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. We're going to have it in our backyard, and we're going to put the cornhole out. And because, like, white people love fucking cornhole so
Yes, we
much.
do, Ramona. It's a real challenge.
Why?
I don't know, but
it
it's
was
true.
Josh and I had, I think, anniversary 8 and 9 during COVID. Probably, I don't know. We had another one too, and one of them, the traditional gift was wood, and I thought, okay, so I went and did curbside pickup at Dick's Sporting Goods and got him a cornhole set.
You went to
That we
Dick's for wood?
Oh,
Okay.
that was great.
Sorry.
Margaret,
No, cut it out.
love it. No, please. Hell no, I'm not cutting that out. So we're putting it out. Every time I see cornhole, I'm like, white people love them some fucking cornhole. And then the white people were fucking playing cornhole, and they were so pumped on the
I don't know what
cornhole.
it is. I don't know what it is. I conform to that stereotype, and I'm bad at sports. There's nothing about it I should like. I don't know. Beanbags are fun. I don't know. I don't know what it is,
I
but
don't
it's a
either.
reality.
I don't either, but I find it so fucking boring. Like, I can't watch it, I can't play it, and I have some friends that love fucking cornhole. It was just funny to me. Anyway,
I
cornhole.
mean, cornhole. I don't seek it out, but I'll be honest, if it's there
Well,
at a party
next
and
time
no
you
one's playing
visit,
with it, no,
next time you
don't
visit,
do
I'll
that.
have
I'll
it
know
out.
what's going on. I'll know
I
you just be
did
watching me through the window
No,
going like,
you and
Marky.
Josh can play
Okay,
cornhole
we will.
all goddamn day and night. I did see when I was researching cornhole sets, because they're often very ugly. I don't recommend that people research cornhole sets on Etsy, because you can get they're just copious amounts of like live, love, laugh or wine. There's just like there's lots of like the script bullshit. But I did see one that was so gorgeous. It was lucite, and I was all, "Ooh, okay. I could get behind a lucite cornhole. I'm not going to play it, but it'll be a lot less offensive to my eyes to see it set up at a party."
I love a Lucite game. I bought a Lucite Connect 4 and I've been playing it with
Ooh,
my goddaughter and just like it's so satisfying. I don't know
I
why. Like the
love it.
clicks of it and like it's real glamorous
Lucite.
Connect 4.
Lucite is the shit.
It is.
So yeah, and you already touched on this, and I will touch on this. We touched on this a lot last week. Lala and Sheena are double teaming Ariana. They have an agenda. It is glaring to me, and I'm sure you, but Ariana, the anger drops, and we see just the grief and the overwhelmingness of it all. And again, it just proves our point from last week. You can't rush the anger, and the anger also serves a very important purpose. She will crumble if she doesn't have access to it. And this is what's underneath it. She does have genuine, real pain. It's not just, and so I was just glad to see it. And I also think that Lala and Sheena are grody to the max for
I
being,
loved them in this moment, and then I could not have hated them more at
yeah,
the sperm bank. No, and I think it is important for me to remember that, like, it's just because you're in the right doesn't allow you to bypass all of the pain. Like, it
mm-mm,
feels like it should earn you a shortcut, and it just doesn't. And I wasn't as evolved as Ariana when I went through some of my heavier breakups. So I leaned on, you know, acting out behaviors to try and get a shortcut because I didn't deserve to feel bad. So I shouldn't feel bad. So I'm going to go
yeah,
find ways to feel good. And
yeah.
it didn't do anything. It just at a certain point you just have to like sit in it and move through it, and she's doing that. And I thought her friends were lovely for sitting by her side and crying with her and understanding her, and then they suck. So
And that's the thing too, like they're asking her to be the bigger person. which I understand. I don't think it's the time or the place right now.
No.
And I will say that even with all of the therapy I have, I will say a few things. Oh, I'm going to say a lot of things, but on this subject, when when ketamine was introduced into the mix, it really helped me rewire my brain and lessen my grip on the we've talked about this many times in the podcast. If on the psychic scoreboard, I know that I am right. If St. Francis was to judge me against the person that I feel is violating my feelings, and St. Francis is all, girl, you're right. It's like when you know you're right and you feel like you don't have power, it doesn't matter. It's like the principle becomes more safe and more empowering than doing what's going to make you feel sane. I imagine that moving out of that house is going to make her feel saner. But the principle, when you're wronged so egregiously, when I'm wronged my whole childhood by my father, why is forgiving him going to be the answer to my happiness? That doesn't make sense to me. And so Oprah and self-help books and whoever can say forgiveness is the key. If I roll over, if I acquiesce, if I move out of the house that Tom cheated with Rachel in while I was at my grandmother's funeral, if I do that, he wins. Logically, we all know that that's not true. But emotionally, as a human being, who's maneuvering through this trauma, through this grief, the 7 stages. We don't know what stage she's in,
Well, and
what
they come
stages are
and go. They are
overlapping.
in
Yeah,
flux. You don't like
exactly.
check one off
It's
and
like,
move on.
I understand that. I will put all of my chill and my zen and my knowledge aside and speak my truth that I don't want to give that person the satisfaction of me doing the right thing because they were wrong and they should be the ones doing it. And yes, we all know at the end of the day that doesn't matter, but it is too hard to reconcile when you're in that much pain. Now that I have ketamine mixed with all of the other things I did to lead me here, I can more easily want to be happy than to be right. More easily. Didn't say perfectly. I said it's easier now.
Yeah. And
But yeah,
I think a
so
lot of people, like you were talking about last week, they don't nobody likes, everyone's afraid of anger. So people like to say
mhm.
forgive without acknowledging that this, the path to forgiveness is anger. You have to go through all of the anger
All
to
of
get
it.
the forgiveness. It's like the 4-step and 12-step rooms where you list who you're mad at, every petty fucking reason why, every piece of fury and everything they've earned and everything that you've created. It doesn't matter. You put it all out there. And then the next
Oof.
column is what has it affected me, my self-esteem, my security, my sexual relations, financial, whatever, all that stuff. And then my part is the last part. But you go through all of those other columns first in depth and you fucking, searching and fearless inventory is
Yep.
usually rife with anger,
Yep.
And
Yep.
then 3
Yep.
or 4 steps later, 5 steps later is when the forgiveness comes. There's so much work to be done in
So
between.
much work.
It's a really
So
long
much
path.
work.
And
It
that's just
is.
one way of getting there. But I guess my point is generally, yeah, anger is the only way to get to forgiveness. And people just aren't patient with anger. I wasn't
They're
patient with
really
my own
not.
anger. When my engagement broke up, I signed up for a weekend workshop on forgiveness. And I was like, great, we'll get it taken care of today. I'll forgive him. I'll move on with my life. I'll be an altruistic, benevolent being. And no, it took years. It was interesting information, but I was just not there yet.
Yeah.
I was still
Yeah.
real mad.
Oy. Yeah,
And for the
dude.
record, they say Ariana needs to be the bigger person. She is being the bigger person. She is showing up to this shit. She is trying not to involve other people. They continue to involve themselves because it's a show and this is what's on the table to talk about. She is being the bigger person. She's just not completed her healing yet. So give her a fucking minute.
Honestly. Honestly. Look at just fucking mind your own goddamn business. Mind your own
Truly,
business.
Lala.
Work on your own shit, Sheena. Work on your own shit, Lala. And it's like the older we get, the more shit there is to deal with and unpack. And it just everyone has a lot going on. So
And Lala, of all people, should really understand because she even says it later at the cryobank, like, I didn't do anything. It's not my fault. My family shattered. What's his nuts? Randall did that. And Ariana here is saying, like, but I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to him. I deserve to be petty. I'm allowed to feel
yep,
this way. And everyone's
yep,
like, no,
yep,
no,
yep,
just forgive. And it's like,
yep.
God, give her a beach day to just like be in a bit of a bad mood for her first time around this piece of shit on a
Honestly,
shoot day.
honestly,
Anyways,
honestly.
we go from oysters at the waterfront cafe to a Wienermobile with Lala and Joe. Oh, Joe. Again, not knowing what was coming. I liked Lala here because she said she saw how uncomfortable Joe was at Hotel Ziggy, and Schwartz had said to Joe that Lala would be a good one to connect with. And, Joe says she sees how much Schwartz loves his friends, but she's not welcome in this friend group. So she's trying to remedy that. And you have to try to learn that it'll never happen. So that's what this appeared to be to me. And Lala asked if she asked directly, and I appreciated this, if Joe knew about Tom and Raquel.
Yep.
And then sadly, we get Joe's answer, which tells us everything. She's like, I only had eyes on Schwartz. And I was like, oh no, she's
God.
like fully obsessed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And she explains that they got close. This is a danger zone. They got close when Schwartz was coming out of his divorce from Katie. And that's just such a tricky
Yikes, yikes,
place.
yikes, yikes. Yeah.
I dated a guy who's newly divorced once, and at a party, someone asked me, are you the first girl since his divorce? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm fucking great. And like, it doesn't matter. They're working through a lot of things. So needless to say, that did not go the distance, but
Mm.
it's a really weird time because they need, at least in my experience, he needed a lot of support, and we bonded very quickly because he was used to being in a relationship. But he wasn't done processing his divorce. He wasn't over that. Anyways,
Oy, oy,
poor
oy.
Joe.
Poor Joe, dude. Seriously.
Also go to
Oh,
therapy, Joe.
also go to therapy, Joe, right?
It
God, it
can
made me
be
want a
better.
hot dog. So
I
I love
know.
hot dogs so much. I love a hot dog.
I wondered if I was just like starving, but when they were ordering, I was like, what? A fried cheese dog? And then, oh my God, it
That
just
did
seemed,
not sound good to me, but I
I just haven't like encountered like a corn dog or anything like that in a really long time. So I was just like,
yeah.
what is this whole new world? Anyways,
God, I used to love pinks. Mm-mm-mm.
yeah.
Oh, so then we find ourselves at Top Golf. I do know that there have been a handful of Mexican American golf players. Golf, I enjoy. Golf is a white person's hobby slash sport slash endeavor that I love. I love it. What the fuck? I love mini golf and I love regular golf. I
Do you
don't
golf?
understand that. Do I golf?
Uh-huh.
When I've tried, I've really liked it. It doesn't make any sense. I have ADHD. I fucking hate cornhole. I hate it. But maybe it's because you're moving with golf. Maybe it's because there's variety. You have the long shots, you have the tiny putts. There's special clothing involved,
Ah,
and
yes.
golf clothing has come a long way. So anyway, the golf looked fun, and the Bloody Marys looked really delicious.
Yeah. That looked like a good day. I just appreciate James in this episode. He's just a truth teller. I really enjoy him and Allie so much in this
I
episode.
do
Wait till,
too.
who knows what's going to happen down the line. But
Yeah.
I did love that he's just in his confessional. He's like, you guys, it's weird that Katie and Schwartz are pursuing the same girl who looks like she's 12. Like, and they're kissing the same girl right after Katie slept with Schwartz's best friend. He's like, this shit is fucking weird. And he's right, because Katie's trying to be like, yeah, whatever. I don't care what Schwartz has to say, and I just do what I want. And he's like, okay, but it's also, you were married and then you were divorced and then you like hated each other last year. And now you're just like playing around. Like, it's really,
Yeah.
I'm with him. I'm like, it is weird.
Katie does seem chill. Like, she seems authentically chill to me.
I think she's over it for
I do
real.
too. And so I
And look what
didn't
time
find it
does,
weird.
because
Yeah.
she was so a couple years ago, she was in a bad way. And now she's just like, whatever, we'll kiss the same girl. I'll sleep with his friend. And then at a party, I'll tell him I'll never sleep with other of your friends. And we high five and go on with our date. Like, they're fine.
Totally. It was wild. There wasn't much to say on that. Oh, and then just that Ariana fills them in on Lala and Sheena pushing their forgive Sandoval agenda and just how like perplexing it is. And
Well,
Ellie
and
suggests, oh, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, go
Yes,
ahead.
please. No,
I was just
you.
going to say, James mentions that they've all been invited to go paintballing, and Ariana
Oh, that's
again
right.
has that like gut wrenching moment where she
Yeah.
realizes there are now text threads that she's excluded from, and that is again, she did nothing wrong, but she will now be excluded from things. Like, that was a big shoot day, and she doesn't get to be there because she did nothing wrong, and that is brutal. But I did, again, this is where I love Allie. Allie was asking Ariana about the house, and Ariana talked about waiting for Tom's counter, and then Allie moves it into this really positive, beautiful place, but without being annoying about it the way Sheena and Lala were. She just says, what's your dream house? Like, when the day comes that you're out of here, where do you picture yourself living? And Ariana says, like, a tree house. And Allie says, well, you can start manifesting that.
Yeah.
And then James says, she already is. She just said it. And I was like, oh, I love these two. I love Allie and James. And we found out this week that Ariana did just purchase like a tree house in the hills.
Just purchased
so look at that shit.
In the Hollywood
I
Hills
love Allie.
with no pool.
I mean,
that's not my business.
Listen, so much maintenance, man.
She has plenty of friends with pools, probably. I know. Listen, yes, yeah. It's priorities. I understand. Then we moved to the Cali cryobank with Lala and Sheena, and Craig was Craig. It doesn't matter what his name was. Brian, thank you.
Brian, the cryobank manager.
Who
was dressed like a bank manager. Made me laugh.
The homesickness I got just seeing the fucking 134 freeway sign. What the hell, dude?
There was a lot of really good B-roll in this episode. I don't know if they were just filling time, but I was like, yeah, I love the city.
Canyon, yeah. The Laurel Canyon street sign. And see, that's the thing. Even when I lived there, I would still get that like, that hometown pride. Seeing, like being like, I'm on fucking Mulholland right now in my convertible goddamn Mini Cooper S. I'm living the goddamn dream. I'm on Mulholland driving.
And it is as beautiful as portrayed.
God damn. Like, so just seeing the 134 freeway sign made me like, I think it's been, I have to say I've felt really homesick for LA. Coming from Beverly Hills, watching all the Beverly Hills B-roll, and then immediately going into Vanderpump. It's like peak basketball season right now, watching the Lakers play every week, a couple times a week. It's just, oh God, Curb Your Enthusiasm restarted and ended. R.I.P. Goddamn, I love that show. It's like seeing so much LA. It makes me sad in my stomach, and it makes my heart hurt. And it causes physiological reactions in my body, my homesickness.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel that. I really do. I love it here, and I love watching those moments because I'm like, I know where that is. I love that place. What a beautiful day they're shooting on, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Shit.
I did the beginning of the scene again before these women lost me. I liked that at the little opening as they're walking into the sperm bank, they were talking about how they've completed their like wills and estates work, Yeah. And I was like, look at these responsible adult parent people. Good for them. And I also really loved this. Again, this is when I still liked Lala in this episode. I loved this like expansive way of creating a family. I love that she put this on camera to say, and I loved how she talked about this baby can be conceived in love, not in the traditional way, but I'm going to have a huge party. And this child is going to know that they were brought into this world because they were loved and wanted. And there's people waiting who can't wait to meet them when they get here. I just thought that was so like profound and evolved and sweet and lovely. And then no.
Yep. No. And then they Yep.
And I was sad because Lala was saying she feels like she's part of something that's broken, that this family, her own family is not like her family of origin with parents together. And that's what she'd envisioned. And that's not happening. And she cries and said, that's really fucking hard because I feel like I deeply failed this innocent soul. And it wasn't because of me. And it wasn't because of her. But again, if she were in a 12-step room, yes, it was because you chose Randall. And that is what you would learn in your 4-step is my part is choosing a person who was married, who, you know what I mean? Like who was a liar, who, and there's nothing bad about that. It's not a punishing thing. It's just like, you know,
we all saw it. And it's hard when you're the one that is in it and you have the love goggles or the denial goggles or a combination of two. You don't want to believe it. Like your gut. Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't. It's just the thing of like on the other side of it, of taking no responsibility. It's like, well, then you're going to repeat it again. Because I don't think, you know, there've been like, for all of my failed relationships, for the failed relationships in the lives of people around me, they're not failed because what came out of them, what like my career came out of my broken engagement. The 3 best people I know on the planet, my niece and nephews, came out of a broken marriage. Like those things had to happen, and had everyone abided by the signals and been a little more safe, and like then nothing would have happened. We'd all just be like safe and like, you know, it just is, you got to fucking take risks sometimes, and it's never a net zero. There's always a positive. It's just we lose sight of it sometimes because the pain can be so major. It'll cloud out what's fucking vital that came of that experience, you know?
Yeah.
And that for Lala seems to be Ocean and the experience of being pregnant and wanting to be a mom. That happened because of Randall. So great. Mission accomplished, Randall. And now onward.
And now onward.
Sir.
Right. And and let's just drive this home that families can be created and defined any way that people want them to, as long as it's not a cult family. Asterisk there. I'm not talking about a family that, I'm not talking about cults. I'm not talking about those kinds of, I'm talking about like a pure family, you know, and I understood why she is going that way. No one can take this child away from her.
I know, but it's so complicated because as she said that with just this simplicity and clarity, and I was like, dude, but it's not going to be that easy because now you're going to have 2 kids. One will have a dad and the other will be like, why don't I have one of those? So it's not, nothing is simple. Nothing is clean. Again, the Irish blessing, the Irish proverb of there are no unmixed blessings. Like it will be a blessing to never face a custody battle, but you're going to have a lot of talks with this kid of like why Ocean gets a daddy and she doesn't, you know, that's going to be like, whatever. But Lala is so called to be a mom, and I think that's beautiful. And I'm glad this was televised. I thought that was
absolutely
real lovely.
I agree.
Until this part where they talk shit about Ariana out of nowhere.
I mean, they miss the point completely. I'm real glad that these conversations are being caught on film because there's no way to spin it. It's just, Lala says it's just simple, move out. Sheena says it's pride. I cannot believe
Sheena says
we're
it's
both
pride.
putting our hands on our faces.
I literally am like, my head hurts. Right. Sheena says she suspects it's Ariana's pride that keeps her from moving into an apartment. It's not about an apartment. And also it kind of is. Why should Ariana have to move into an apartment from her dream house when this piece of shit, she just found out who Tom Sandoval really is. Again, her head is spinning. When you're betrayed on that level, it's really hard to understand that it could be true, that someone who said all the things and did all the things to make you believe they loved you and would never betray you. It takes a lot of time and a lot of repeated encounters of this person being terrible to believe that that's who they actually are. And also, you shouldn't have to do anything inconvenient when you've been destroyed. So it's not about pride. Yeah. It's not about not wanting an apartment. It's about moving her whole life, her dogs. Like, and also it's not the easiest time in the world to get an apartment in Los Angeles. Like, it's not like, I don't know. It just is so much work and she has other shit going on. And didn't they listen to her at all? She said she's having a hard time. She's just having a hard time.
Is anyone writing Schwartz as hard about moving out? Because just because
Sandoval
sorry, Sandoval, Jesus Christ. Because
he's just refused to move out. And so everyone's like, oh, well, then now, Ariana, you have to. It's like, well, actually, why don't we work on the man who's dug his heels in and has no business? Why don't we work on that guy? But he just said no and everyone accepted it. And so now everyone's mad at Ariana. Ugh.
It's real strange to me.
These two can go to hell.
Right.
And on the heels of that conversation that seems so genuine and understanding, I was shocked. I just wrote in all caps, wow.
I know. I wrote pass on friends like that.
Yeah, because Lala says it's very simple. Just move out. And if she won't leave the house, then I don't want to listen to it anymore. I'm done. I'm like, are you? Yeah. Okay.
And it's been between 8 and maybe 10, 12 weeks. Let's just 12
And
weeks.
now you don't want to hear about it anymore.
Right, exactly.
And
I'm disgusted.
Same.
Fuck that, dude. Seriously. Like, honestly, I just don't get it. I would love to see Sheena in this scenario. She would be sucking the air out of every room she went in like an extra industrial strength fucking vacuum.
And she would have the right to.
And no one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah. No, neither one of these women.
Probably, pulling out her best racist ass like Tupac impersonation in order to cope with her if she was in this situation. Fuck that, man. I just can't.
No, Ariana's in a really impossible situation because while the others have gone through breakups, Randall's a non-factor. He's gone. Shay is a non-factor. He's gone. Everyone insists on keeping Tom Sandoval in the mix, and they are insisting Ariana get on board. And like you said, if Sheena or Lala was being faced with this, every scene would end with arson committed by
completely.
Lala or Sheena. It's just...
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely right. Oh, God, here we go. Let's go to Codependence.
Let's go to Hair Boss.
Anonymous. Yeah, so Schwartz goes to see Joe at Hair Boss.
Is Hair Boss on 3rd Street?
Uh-huh.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like it. Yeah.
Next to a
fucking for rent sign. I was all, damn.
I know.
This scene was, I was real stressed out by it, partially because of the conversation that was happening and partially because it felt like everyone that was watching Joe's work, either it was like the editing was done like that on purpose, or it was just that the cameras caught what was happening, but it felt like everyone was like, what is she doing? What is she doing? What is she doing? Reddit said, because his hair was a fucking hot mess.
It was wrong. It went
bad.
Wrong. Yeah.
So Reddit said, the hairdressers that weighed in, they're like, listen, everyone knows if you're bleaching, you should start with the length first because your scalp produces heat. Heat processes the bleach. And so putting the bleach on his roots was going to bleach his roots faster than the ends. I confirmed this with one of my best friends, my friend Gabi. I confirmed it this morning, and she said that yes, the heat was she confirmed all of that, and that he needed a toner. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, was there color in his hair before? And I said, yes, it comes out that he had been dyeing his hair various colors of brown because he's covering his grays. It was terrible. And I find it so derivative and exhausting and lazy and basic to hear about Kenergy and Barbie and Kenergy and Barbie. And I know this was filmed just like I should say Lala and Sheena should shut the fuck up because it's been weeks since this trauma happened to Ariana. At the time they're filming this, Barbie is the zeitgeist. We are in a Barbie world, and that is just it. So, but when he's saying it's giving Kenergy, I'm just like, oh, fuck. Just go get a Frappuccino, why don't you? Go get a fucking Frappuccino and...
play cornhole.
Play fucking cornhole.
You know what?
Yeah, go be basic on your own time.
No, it didn't bother me just because I knew the timing was like,
right.
But I guess it bothered me because it wasn't giving me Kenergy. It was giving me like bleach job gone wrong. I was like,
it was bad.
Ken's hair looks good and this is not that.
It was bad.
Schwartz basically reports he went on the date with Tori and Joe. Schwartz said this, which really freaked me out. He says, Joe asked, where did Tori come from? And Schwartz says she's been very close with Sheena for like 10 years. That means since she was 14? Very close? Like, what is Tori? I thought she was a nanny who I don't understand. It just
maybe she's a family friend.
I'm not
Maybe she's
gonna
a family friend.
I
But
don't even want to dig too deep into it. It just creeped me
no,
out.
you're right. I
And
don't
has
either.
Schwartz like known her since? I don't understand. It was gross.
Oh no.
Anyways, Joe is bothered because she gets a lot of hate from being in the friend group, and Schwartz without problem gets to go date Tori. I don't know. This made me sad for Joe because she's really, she seemed relieved when Schwartz reported that Tori likes Katie better.
Yeah.
And she was, she was sweet. Tori had made out with Katie the night before Schwartz went on a date with her. And Joe was like, "Oh, how does that make you feel, bro?" And I was like, "Oh, you really are like trying to be a friend." And
Jesus.
and
Oof.
then this is where Schwartz he just can't tell the truth. And it's like small lies or lies of omission, but they're so damaging. It's disgusting. He says he's going to a singles event because Sandoval didn't want to go alone. So that, to me, Joe later says, "I thought we were there to support Sandoval." And I'm like, yeah, I would
Right.
make the same
Right.
I would
Right.
draw the same
Right.
conclusion.
Right.
And then Joe says, "I want to go." And Schwartz clearly doesn't want her to go, but he just goes like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, just say no. You are making your own mess here. Like you could have
Right.
said no right there, and you would have saved yourself a lot of headaches. And then Joe says, "Well, you'll be going with real cool hair." And he goes, "And with a cool chick." So it's like, all right.
Oof.
So that makes me feel like you like me and you
It
want
was
me and I'm cool and you want me with you.
so. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh
And when he
God. It was
questions,
just
am I giving her
so.
mixed messages later? It's like, did you see this scene? Were you present at all for
Yeah.
anything you said? Like,
Yeah.
yes, it's just one long mixed message. And she's obviously confused. She doesn't look stable. But I too would probably leave this interaction being like, he's going to support Sandoval. He called me a hot chick. He didn't say no. So yeah, of course he wants me there. We
Oh
love spending time
Jesus.
together.
Oh Jesus.
Heartbreaking.
I know we know that she shows up at we know that she participates in the reunion, so I'm
I
sure.
know. With a horrible dress. Did you see the looks?
I saw a lot of the looks and I was not impressed by any of them.
But
Lala looked like
Joe's,
a
oh,
prom
sorry.
dress, but yeah,
Yeah.
Joe's dressed. I already Men in Blacked that out of my brain.
It looks like she has like Play-Doh pasta maker pasta coming out of her crotch. It's like
Oh,
this like round applique thing that has tassels coming out and then down. So it
interesting.
looks
I don't
like,
remember it,
oh, it's
but
just god awful. It's really, yeah. And as my aunt would say, she's got a cute little figure. Like, why would she do that? Why would she put on like Play-Doh pubes?
oh, oh God.
That's what it looks like. I'll send you a
Yeah.
picture. It's a
I I
bummer.
I show they show them on Reddit. Someone posted them on Reddit, and they went around the blogs like last week. And I have already the only one that strikes that I thought of was Lala's because it was just such a missed opportunity
Well,
to.
she's claiming she's in, I'm soft. I'm soft this
Oh
year. So
Jesus!
that was her soft look, her
The
lavender
lady
flowy
doth
prom
protest so
dress.
much. If you have to say it out loud, I would not. I would venture that she is softer. Again, the
I would
shadow
venture
puppet
that Lisa
firearms are
Vanderpump,
on.
I think Lisa Vanderpump said, "Why
Oh.
don't you say you're soft and then do all these things so that we can have a show? Because no one can shoot together because Tom and Ariana won't. So
Oh.
why don't you say you're soft and so you'll go sit with Joe, and you're soft and so you go cry with
Oh.
Ariana, and you're soft so you'll go to the cryo bank." And I just, for whatever reason, I just feel like Lisa Vanderpump has her hands firmly up Lala's butthole and is manipulating her every
Interesting.
move.
Interesting. I wonder if May the Best Woman win. The ultimate winner is LVP. Because we're
Always.
watching and we're talking about it for now an hour and 7 minutes and 18
Good Lord.
seconds. So,
All
yep.
right. Well, now we go back and forth between girls' night and the singles party at the Sky Bar at Mondrian. I don't know. Craig, Tom's assistant, is also at this party. And then I did think it was interesting because Sandoval has a confessional where he says that Tom and Joe are not on the same page, and that Joe is looking at the situationship as a glass half full, and Schwartz is too charming to make it clear to her that he's not going for a committed relationship here. And I was just like, oh, well, that's insightful. Like, so you fully are capable of being sensitive to a woman's experience in a relationship. And it just made it even just unforgivable all over again that he wouldn't
I
own up
mean,
to the depth of the pain that he caused his own partner. You
But
clearly can see what's going on.
he's doing it without any compassion, though, for her. He's doing it with just a lot of like judgment and
Yeah.
ew, look what she's doing. That's how it felt to
No,
me. It
you're
felt like,
right.
and
Throw the stink off of him.
exactly, or to, absolve his friend. So,
Yeah, because he
oof,
thinks that's
yeah,
honorable. Anyways.
God. Lala tells Sheena, Ariana, and Katie that she had hot dogs with Joe, and she won't even try to understand Katie's perspective on why that could be hurtful to her. I don't know if there's winners, but I definitely am not down with how unwilling Lala was to try to see. Now, remember, she and Katie 2 episodes ago just tried to have a come to Jesus. And while Lala is saying with her mouth that she is in her soft era, because I'm soft now, Katie, okay? That's why. Like, okay, A, if you have to say it like that, you're probably not. And B, I would say that Allie is soft. Allie is an example of soft. I wouldn't say that anybody else on this cast is soft.
Even in this
Um,
scene, when Lala says, I had a hot dog with Joe, Allie goes like, oh, good. I was wondering where she'd been. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, and then a fight
yeah.
erupts. But,
At paintball, yeah. At paintball, she says that. And
oh,
it's
sorry.
really,
Yeah,
yeah,
at
no,
paintball.
you don't have to apologize for that. But
Got ahead
yes,
of myself.
only because it really stuck out to me too, that she was so genuinely like,
Empathetic.
like you could see her physiological reaction to hearing that. And that you can't fake fucking kindness like
No.
that. And Allie's kindness is palpable and her earnestness is palpable and her genuine need, her genuine desire for people to feel good as they maneuver through this hard, cold world. And the fact that it's so noticeable against the rest of the cast speaks to how authentic it is and how not soft the rest of the cast is. So we see the men being singles and ew. Schwartz makes out with someone. Joe watches. Oh, go ahead. Do you have something to say before that?
I was just going to say,
Please.
I just wrote like, when we come back into the singles party and start seeing who's in attendance, I just wrote like, this is actually LA, everybody. Anyone who thinks it's like floor to ceiling glamorous people, you're wrong. Look at the scene, look at who's populating this event. That is the truth of Los Angeles. Yes, there's a higher percentage of like gorgeous people here, but like that event was like the regular Los
Yeah,
Angeles scene. So I was glad that
I
it got some
I
stage
co-sign.
time.
I co-sign. I absolutely co-sign. You're right. You're right.
Well, and the only thing I wanted to say about the girls' moment before was like, I think Lala was right when she said she doesn't see Joe as someone who has like nefarious intentions. But it also broke my heart because Katie said that she feels like she's being labeled as the bad guy again. And again, Schwartz is just getting away with everything. And Lala is facilitating that by making it seem like totally no big deal. Like, why would I tell you? Like, of course I had a hot dog with Joe. It's like, it's not, of course. This is actually a big deal. And you claiming it's not is doing what Schwartz does about everything. Anything he wants to do that causes harm, he just says it's no big deal. It's gross.
Oh, yeah. He does this little like, oh, yeah. Am I really going to say this? Okay. Katie has been the identified patient in this friend dynamic because there's Tequila Katie. She raises her voice. She cries. She doesn't make her emotions a secret. And Schwartz has perfected his wet noodle coping mechanisms to evade and avoid any responsibility for anything. Well, look what I deal with. Look what I deal with. Look how look how he is not smart enough to be a silent or stealthy assassin. He's just, I don't know. He's stupid and lazy
But I don't think
and
he's stupid. I think that's what's the most devious thing about this.
oh,
He's too,
yeah.
like in your 20s, you can be stupid and do this, but now he's developed this into a coping mechanism way of life. And he knows it's damaging. He's seen it's happened plenty of times. And he's doing like, yes, he kisses that disgusting drunk girl. God bless her. She's not disgusting. I'm just saying, like, in front of someone whose feelings you pretend to care
It
about,
was
to go in that hard on this woman was like really unpleasant. But again, it's that woman's fault. She wanted my hat. I have 100 extras. It's fine. And then Joe leaves
yeah.
because she was under a false impression that she and Tom were there just to support Sandoval. And then Gabby asks, like, is that your girlfriend, the girl that he's kissing? And Schwartz goes, she is not my girlfriend at all. And I was like, you are such an asshole, because she kind of is, whether or not you call her one. When you spend every minute together, talk to that person all day, every day, have the best time together, sleep together, like, define it however you want, but she's kind of that. So like, and credit to Gabby, the girl, that she sensed it. She's like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Schwartz has this confessional where he says maybe it's not realistic to be as close as Joe and I are and also bang around, basically.
Right. Exactly,
and then Joe's
dude.
counter confessional, she says, I know the truth, which is that we still hook up. We tell each other we love each other. And I'm tired of feeling like a secret. And I was just like, oh,
Chopped liver.
Heart.
Chopped liver.
Yeah. And then Schwartz tells Gabby, like, oh, I want to make sure Joe's okay. And no, you don't, because Gabby dismissively says, like, oh, she's okay. And Schwartz is like, oh, how could you say that? But he doesn't do anything. He just feigns surprise and passes it off as Gabby's idea to let Joe walk away alone and upset. He's such a piece of shit. And again, I wouldn't say that if he wasn't 40. When you're 20, you can make these errors and learn from them. But like, you're 40, so this is a choice now. This is who you've chosen to be. And it's so cruel.
Yep. Jesus
and I
Christ.
just wrote, he has no boundaries. There were none in his marriage. There's none here. He's might be a love addict. He's definitely addicted to attention. A little attention is too much, and all the attention is never enough. He just can't stop needing to be, I don't know, the focus of attention. It's what he did in his marriage. It's like, it's just sad.
Oof. It was really sad. Oh God. Okay. I just want to say, like, I have not stopped thinking about a hot dog now since we started talking about it, and I'm gonna need to eat one for lunch. I'm gonna need to like find a hot dog and eat a hot dog for lunch.
Delicious.
With, like, a fuck ton of mustard, a few raw onions, a splash of like tapatio sauce, and probably some ketchup. And so I'm just gonna have to have a real fucking loaded ass hot dog.
This show is having such an impact on your lunches. Last week it was round table. This week it's a hot dog. It's like,
I did order round table that day.
I'm so glad.
I did. I ordered.
I'm sure they were glad too.
Yeah,
Aww.
it was. It was so good too. It was just delicious. Round table, paintball. So here, I don't know if this is because of my neurospiciness or if it's just a normal thing. There are certain movies and certain TV shows that I won't even try to watch because the color schemes seem so unappealing to me. Most like the ones that I think of, like, I know, goddamn, everyone fucking loves Blade Runner, for Christ's sake. I fall asleep and wake up in the exact same places every time I try to see this cult classic, impactful movie. I don't know. It's fine. Listen, I love the movie Terms of Endearment. I'm sure the people that love Blade Runner might not love that movie. I don't need to go off on this. My point is, like, movies like Mad Max, Dune, Westerns, for Christ's sake, anything that I am just up against the color of dirt and sand and brown and there's nothing else, I can't. Like, I can't. And this paintball scene, like, right now my skin's crawling and I'm physiologically activated. Just the scenario, the setting, the colors, my body just resists these kinds of things. And anyway, I don't know if that's a shared trait or not. I don't
know if it has to do with neurospiciness, but like, I feel the same way. It was like they show up there and I immediately am like, this is my nightmare. It's hot. Nightmare. It's dirty. There's guns. Sandoval takes it way too seriously. The guy who works there takes it way too serious, for real.
My God.
Again, this is not war. So when Sandoval's like, you guys, you got to split up. Don't stay together. I was like, can you just play paintball instead of like making it this? I hated playing with kids like that when I was a kid. I just was like, totally. Can we just like have fun, or no? I guess no. But I did love, this is where James asked if Schwartz dyed his hair to color his grays. And he's just a little truth teller in this episode, saying that he went through so many shades of brown and maybe he just decided to go all platinum to cut his losses and cover them all.
Oh my God.
Anyways, I hated the scene.
I did too. Okay, so I watched on Bravo and then I watched on Peacock And then I listened to it this morning. I listened to the episode while I was getting ready. And I heard Ariana at Top Golf, share with the group, yeah, like Sandoval has like a paintball outfit. Like he's really into it. And okay, I know he was on that competitive game with Tyler Cameron and JoJo Siwa, and what was that one called?
Special Forces. I watched every
Special
episode.
Forces. Thank you. Okay. So granted, I will concede that he is into competitive sports. And listen, I don't know if he's an avid paintballer or if he just wants to have the right look for whatever thing he's doing, which I know it's a thing on these shows. Like, God knows when all those women go skiing, it's like the Chanel fucking snowsuit head to toe. Not my vibe, but whatever. No, I have to listen. Have I spent hours of my life on eBay and Poshmark looking for snowboarding outfits when Burton did a collaboration with Gwen Stefani's brand Lamb? Her shit was so fucking cute. Oh my God. And sometimes I'm all, I think I'm going to get myself some Lamb X Burton snowboard shit for when we go to the snow. I don't remember the last time I went to the snow. And I don't have any plans to go to the snow. But oh my God. Okay, there. I'm on record saying that maybe I share something with Sandoval. Oh God.
No.
God,
Sandoval
shame.
buys this stuff. We've talked about it before because he's an outside-in kind of guy. He thinks if he has the most professional equipment, he'll be the best guy on the course. And
You're right.
that's just not how it works. He looks like a fool and it's joyless. Again, I can't think of like a less fun. And even when he gets out, he's like, well, at least it got me on my back and not my shoe. I was like, how is this fun? Is that fun?
I don't know. Everyone comes out with like the most aggressive, terrifying looking fucking bruises. The fact that like you could need facial reconstructive surgery or whatever.
Oh, that guy too. It's just like, is this fun or not? Like, can we just?
No, it was gross.
So stupid.
So gross.
But honestly, like anything, I have just, it doesn't make me unique in any way. Well, go ahead.
He got hit first.
Yeah. And then he was all pouty and bored. Like the whole thing was stupid.
It was hilarious.
But this is where Allie did say the thing that she was glad that someone checked in on Joe, which was sweet. And Lala is so rude, saying that like Katie's unhappy and she's been unhappy forever. And I'm just like, ugh, can you just stop like being rude?
Honestly. Oh God. So here we go. Let's go to the scene, the real relatable, painful scene.
So this is Joe, who's at Schwartz's apartment because clearly she like has a key and has lived there and all that stuff. And it opens with a shot of a Post-it note on the counter that says, "You make me happy and that's hard to do." And like whether that was written by her or him, you're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Right. Again, if I left something like that for you, it would be one thing, but we're not sleeping together. You know what I mean? They're sleeping together and one of the two of them felt like writing that, leaving it there. And let's say it was Joe who wrote it and left it there. He didn't throw it away. It's there, stuck on his, like, I don't know. He's such an ass. God, he bothers me so bad. He's so cruel. So fucking cruel.
Oh my God. I mean, she was so clear in this scene, especially when they were on the couch. That's what I have to remember. Like when people ask me questions, I have an opportunity to speak the truth kindly. Ideally, I can speak the truth kindly. He had so many opportunities during this conversation when they were still in the kitchen, standing up before they moved to the couch. He had so many opportunities to be clear, which it's going to hurt either way. The information isn't going to change, but he's either going to say it clearly and she'll have received it with coming from a place of respect and love for her, or she'll receive it in this wishy-washy, or he can communicate it in this wishy-washy way. And he's just gonna, it's like the car accident that won't end, the car that just keeps hitting cars along the street.
Well,
like there's still damage being done.
It's his MO is to just scramble signals so he can never be nobody can ever pinpoint that he's the bad guy. But I
Right.
think what he did here was so cruel. He walks in and is just so casual, saying like, "Ah, what happened last night? I'm a little confused. Am I sending mixed signals?" Doesn't give her a chance to answer, goes on, and this just gets so mean. He goes, I know we have such a good time together and we have this undeniable chemistry. That being said, I don't want to be in a relationship at all. I want to date other people. I am dating other people. I get numbers. I hook up with people. And she's just like wincing and shrinking, and he's watching her absolutely like, shrink to death in front of his face. And she asks very, like you said, clearly and steadily, she says, can you imagine how I feel after being around you for the last year and a half? We've been there for each other. And he goes, yeah, but, and she goes, but shut the fuck up. Are you embarrassed of me? And he says, no. Is it okay that we, and she just goes, no. Like, it's not, basically, it looked like he was insinuating, is it okay that we just like hook up when it's fun and like not have to worry about your feelings, basically. And she says it's not okay. And then Schwartz says, well, then maybe we need to hang out not as much. And Joe says, or not at all. And he just goes, well, that's fine too. It's like, can you be conscious of your words here, asshole? Like, even if
Mm-hmm.
that's what you mean, like, don't just say that's fine. She just said,
Mm-hmm.
we've spent a year and a half together building, whatever you think of it, she thinks it's a relationship. So just saying, well, that's fine too, for her saying, let's spend no time. Like, he's so mean and so selfish. He wants all of his cakes and he wants to eat every crumb. Yeah. And then in his confessional, he says it's gut wrenching for her to say that they can't hang out. We've had this fantastic voyage of compassion and support and maybe even love. Maybe. He's just, if you told her you loved her, like, you have some responsibility here, dude. It's not mixed
Yeah.
signals. She's not misreading anything. You slept with her. You
I,
said you loved her. You
yeah.
moved her into your home. You spend all of your time with her. Like, stop and like quietly inferring that she's psycho. I hated that.
I did too. I really did. And my gut feeling is that they've had this conversation before. They probably had it when they first started hooking up, being, I don't know if they were friends with benefits or if they were whatever, or we'll figure it out later, or I don't know what, but I mean, I feel like he's probably said, I can't have anything serious right now. But
Mhm.
if his
He said it on
actions,
camera. He said it'll
yeah,
be 2 or 3 years before I'm ready to even consider a serious
right.
relationship to her. So he is clear, but then he also says, I'm going
Right.
with a hot chick and she lives there. And like, it's just like,
Yeah.
you
It
are
was,
sending mixed signals.
oh God. I
And that's
mean,
not bad or good.
how?
It's just she's telling you now, and you're not acknowledging that that's what you're doing. You're saying, oh, am I? It's like, just take a breath and say, like, ooh, I am. I really, really am. And
And I think he knows that.
he
And yet he
does.
still can't take responsibility for himself. I'm just going to say that this scene, I don't want to say that every woman has been Joe. I have been Joe. I
100%.
have put my eggs into a basket where I knew that the person I liked didn't like me like that. They told me, but they did give me mixed messages. And they did love so many things about me. But they ultimately didn't want to be with me in that way. And this was when I was much, much younger, obviously. But like, well, not obviously.
Not
Shit.
me. I did this
Jesus
like,
Christ.
I did
Like,
this 8 years ago with someone. I had this exact same thing where it's like, we talked every day, had spent all of our time together. We're each other's plus ones at like social events and work events and all this stuff. And then push came to shove. It was just like, whatever,
yeah.
just wanting to date everybody. And I was like, you can understand how I'm confused seeing as like,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
whatever.
And no man in the history of men that I have been romantically involved with, whether it was wanting to be romantically involved with them or we did become romantically involved, like at some point, all of them said, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt you. Holy shit. What are you so afraid? Like the men, I don't want to say all men, but I will say in general, they are terrified of hurting people. I can only say like women, like me, like they were terrified of hurting me.
No, I think that's
And
universal.
like,
And that's
I
a
don't.
lovely place of like motivation. I don't want to hurt anyone. And what gets
I
missed
mean,
is
who does?
you hurt people
Some people
so
do, but
much more
yeah.
when you evade the truth, half truth it, or to skip it altogether. You hurt
Mm-hmm.
people so much more. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to tell the truth. It really is. But like you can avoid causing yourself and the person who you claim to not want to hurt their feelings, you can spare both of you a shit ton of pain
Totally.
if you can just like take a breath and nut up in the moment.
Yep.
At any moment, you can make it right at any time. Even if you'd lied for years, at any moment,
Yep.
you
You
can say,
can.
like, you know what? I've been screwing around. I fucked up and I know I am risking hurting you. And, you know, but he's
Yeah.
just a weenie.
And for my part, which I'm projecting onto Joe, I could probably say, like, in my gut, would be surprised if she didn't feel similarly to me. It's like,
Of course, like
oh, fuck, I just lost my train of thought.
my part is staying in it
Yeah, my
and
part was staying in it.
getting half, like, you know, when you feel comfortable and relaxed and at ease in a
Yep.
relationship and when you
Yep.
feel like a little bit off, like you're, and my part was staying in it. And I have no problem with that. But like, we both could have gotten out of it faster, you know, like
Yeah.
had there not
Yeah.
been, because my part was hearing what I wanted to hear and seeing what I wanted to see. And I hung
My,
on to that and didn't pay as much attention to the other stuff because it was so beautifully veiled in compliments. And, you know, they do such a really expert job
yeah. Oh my
of
God. Oh
being
my
like, yeah,
God.
there's a
Oh
hot
my
girl at
God.
work, but like, you're the
Yes.
best. I don't want to be with anybody else. Like, I want to spend all my time with
Honestly.
you. Who else would I laugh with at a movie?
Honestly.
And it goes on forever. And then you're like, oh, okay. So there's a hot girl at work, but like, he just spent 30 minutes telling me, like, you know, it's a modus operandi. It is. I'm convinced.
You're you're like exactly the girl I go for. You're my dream girl. Like all that shit. Yes.
Or
Here's
you're the one I want to marry. And then
y-
it's like, oh, well, I told you I want to marry you, but like, I'm not ready for that yet. So that's why banging it
I
out around
also,
town.
for my part, I wouldn't express my needs. I was terrified to have
Likewise.
needs. I was terrified to have needs or ask for what I wanted. That was like whether Tori was fabricated or not. Like she had she she said, "Are you going to ask me on a date or not? Is it just going to be emojis?" Like I would have died. I would have died before I said that. Oh my god, my younger self just did not, like, my dream, my goal, my fantasy life included being, I don't know what other word to use for it right now, like an ice queen. Just like, I don't give a shit. Oh my god, I am literally, I could not be, I am the polar opposite of an ice queen. I was incapable of not having needs. And obviously, like all humans are, but I wanted to not have needs so badly because it would have made being in that unacceptable situation so much better. And yet I had needs and I got attached very quickly. I used to have rules to protect myself and it didn't matter. As soon as I like kissed someone, I was all in, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to slaw.
Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous.
Then I went to Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous and learned that having needs and expressing them is absolutely, absolutely fine. And then I was off to the races and everything became so much easier after that. It was
Yeah.
so much pain and heartache
Well, in
well into my
Schwartz,
30s.
yeah, they do. They sit on the couch and Schwartz admits maybe, he says, maybe it's mixed signals. And that word maybe really bothered me. I was like, just tell
It's
her, just acknowledge her,
right.
please. And he says,
Please.
yeah, but he says, but I just want to have fun. And she goes, we get it. And he goes, I don't want to send mixed signals in this like cutesy little small face. And I was like, God, you're
Oh,
such an asshole.
God.
She is breaking down and you're going like, oh, like making a fucking comedy face to say, I don't want to send mixed signals. And Joe notes that they have a really easy special connection and Schwartz agrees. And Joe says, well, then I need time because I really do have feelings for you, which was like so vulnerable. And she starts crying and he just goes like, oh, Joseph. And she's like, there's nothing wrong. I'm just being honest with you. And he's like, oh, I love it when you're honest with me. He can't just like drop into the moment and like let her be sad, let her experience this like loss and and coming to terms with the truth that he's not going to give her anything that it felt like he was promising her. And it is confusing because she said something, they both say something they liked about each other is that like, I let you do you and you let me do me. And in a healthy relationship, that's like an amazing thing.
Right.
But Schwartz was taking advantage of that concept as like, I do me, meaning I don't think about you when I'm not around you. I just do what I want, as opposed to the healthier outcome of that is like, we both support each other in our lives together and as individuals. So, and then Joe's confessional broke my heart. She says, it's really hard. I just want him to be happy massively. He's my favorite person in the world. And I don't care what he says about me. That's the goddamn truth. I think the world of him. Hopefully, when she watches this back, she'll start to think differently. And then Schwartz just tries to placate her with the dogs. He's like, oh, just look at Butters. And she gets up sobbing and says, I want to call my dad. And I just wrote, his need to be liked makes him so utterly hateable.
Oh God, it's just that yeah. I maybe he's gonna see like, okay, this behavior is no longer serving me.
I think he got everything he wanted. She's gone now. He doesn't have to deal with it. He could say, I'm so sad. We were so good.
So right.
But I'm just not ready. So, and she was, yeah. This episode was really painful because she made and good for her for doing so, because now she can hopefully move on from this group clean. She made every effort to try to become a part of this social group, and it doesn't take. She went to the singles event and left in tears. She had a hot dog with Lala, which caused drama. This conversation is terrible. Like, this just isn't meant to be. This isn't hers. And she tried every way to make it work so she can leave knowing there's nothing else she could have done. This just isn't the social circle for her. So good luck, Joe.
Go where the love is, dude.
Go to Vidal Sassoon and learn how to do Roots last.
I that was scary, terrifying, dude. Yes. But my friend Renee used to always say, go where the love is.
Yes.
Go where the love is, Moner. Go where the love is. And I was all, God damn it.
I know. But sometimes you get confused until you're no longer confused. And I think we saw her experience that arc in this episode. She thought where the love is with the person that she loves the most. And it's not there. And that's sad. But so did Ariana, so did Lala. Like, it's a universal experience.
So do we all.
Yeah.
Right. It is. It is. It really is. God damn it.
What else did you watch this week?
Okay. I caught up on the Potomac reunions so far. I thought it was already done, but apparently I'm caught up, but there's one left.
There is? There's still more?
Yeah, I think so, because I was catching up on Peacock last night, and the last episode, I believe, no, the husbands did come in for this one.
Oh, yeah, and it ended on Gordon's cliffhanger of like, I'm going to say something that you guys already know. And it was like, ooh.
Yeah. You know, I'm coming to like Mia more and more. I really am. I'm still not stoked on what happened last year with Wendy. I think Karen looks phenomenal. I'm enjoying the reunion episodes more than I enjoyed the entire season. I feel for Giselle. I watched Potomac. I'm not 100% caught up with Summer House yet, but I watched some Summer House. Love it. Fucking love it. Fucking love it. Love Paige talking about not being financially dependent on a man. I really love that. I really love that. Still want Ciara to just go whole hog with West. Just love West. Love him. And I'm starting to like Jesse more. Like, he's just revealing more and more of his humanity. I really like him. And
wait till you see the latest episode.
Oh God, I can't wait.
It's not bad. It's just like he's such a dude. He's such a bro.
Oh yeah, he's so bro-y. And let's see. I never saw the Houston season of Love is Blind, the one season 5 with Uche. So many of those couples, just I'm like, holy shit, this is just awful, just awful. So watching some of that. Tried to watch some Single Life. I can only do that one like one at a time. I can binge Love is Blind. I can obviously binge Bravo, but I can't binge 90 Day Fiancé: The Single Life. And then watch the last episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So bummed, dude. Didn't want it to end. Just
Was it
loved
good?
it. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It wasn't the best episode, but it was good. But I mean, You haven't seen it
I
then?
haven't seen it yet, no. I just
Okay.
was thinking about how the last episode of Seinfeld everyone felt
Yeah.
was, like, kind of,
Yeah.
just nothing, so I'm wondering if Curb Your Enthusiasm
Yeah.
had a better finale.
Uh, I mean, I'll be excited to hear what you think about it when you see it.
Okay.
So I just can't say anything. I'm so sad to say goodbye to Leon Black. Like, I wish that he could have a spinoff. From what I've been hearing about the guy that took over HBO or Max, it's a fucking bloodbath with cancellations, and he comes from reality television, and I don't have a lot of hope for getting good prestige TV anymore from the HBO brand. My fingers are crossed. My fingers are crossed.
I think not that
So,
anybody asked, but I think we're just reverting to what TV was in the 80s and 90s. There's gonna be, like, 4 channels that have shows. Like, we're just because we're coming off of 10 years of, like, explosive streaming, going to 100 different platforms to watch shows, and I think the money everyone's so stingy right now, stingy, Hollywood stingy, but there's so much fear that they're just gonna do a few really great shows and, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but just based on how, like, development is sort of starting to take shape, it's like it's interesting. It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But people love TV, so it's not going away.
I mean, they love it, but, like, I love reality TV, but I like to balance it out.
Me too.
Like, where's my next Sopranos? I think I'm gonna do a Sopranos rewatch
Oh,
soon.
I should do that too. I
I
loved that show, and I haven't watched it since it was, like, out.
Maybe we should do another episode during the week and do
That'd be fun.
a
I would do it.
rewatch podcast. And then I watched basketball. I watched the Lakers win. I watched them lose. I know that they get to play in. They're the play in tournament.
Mhm.
Whatever, Adam Silver, basketball.
Yeah.
How about you?
I watched a lot of basketball, but college basketball this week. This was
Yeah.
the end of March Madness, the Final Four and the championship game, and so I didn't watch as much reality TV, but I did watch both summer houses, and I also watched The Valley. Did you watch the episode of The
I
Valley? Oh
I
my
haven't, and I need to because there's so much chatter going on around it,
It's
and
really
these people
interesting.
seem like real shitty.
They are, for the
So,
most part, they are, but this
like,
episode
certain
was
people seem real shitty.
yeah, but
The
I mean,
rumblings on Reddit about certain characters on the show seem real, like they're real shitty.
they are, without a doubt, but this episode was really interesting because Brittany and Jax's child has stopped being verbal, and to
Oh,
watch the parents, either come to terms with that or seemingly punish the child for that. Jax just keeps saying, he says, "I know you're not supposed to, but I'm comparing my kid to other kids, and we're spending so much money on speech therapy." And it's just like, oh my God, like, this poor baby. Thank God Brittany left. Like, that anyways, that energy, whatever's going on with this child is going on with this child, and you're wishing it to be different or wishing it was less expensive to treat it only puts more pressure on the kid, and whether they're verbal or not, they feel it, and like, it was just breaking
oh
my
my
heart.
God. Oh
And
my
it's also
God.
heartbreaking to see, that poor baby. Anyways, it's interesting, and it's ridiculous that there's Kristen Doty and then, like, this really serious subject matter, so you get a little bit of everything. But that's all I watched this week. What was your antidepressant?
I'm having a hard time thinking of one, and that makes me feel like a really bad person.
No.
Uh,
Someone the other day told me, because someone told me to make a gratitude list, and I was in no fucking mood for that
yeah,
shit.
dude,
And
seriously.
they were like, just reframe it, Marky. Like, I can hear you reacting to the word gratitude. So she was like, just reframe it as things that you appreciate and
Okay.
enjoy. And I was
Okay.
like, all right, I appreciate
Okay.
my dog. I enjoy dance class. Like, I was able to do it. But the word gratitude, for whatever reason this week, I was like, just eat shit with your gratitude. Like,
100%, honestly. Okay, because yeah, that's what I was feeling guilty about. I was like, Ramona, there is so much pain and horror going on in the world, and you can't think of some. Obviously, my baseline is that I take all that shit into consideration. I feel like I've lived 10 lifetimes we're like not even a full 2 weeks into April. What is this, the fourth month of the year? And it feels like 2024 should already be 2026. The things that brought me joy this week, I get my nails done. And when it's a few days before my appointment where this set will come off and I will have another one put on, I celebrate them more, and I think about what we've gone through together. I've had the fortune of having 3 incredible nail artists in the Bay Area that I love all 3 of them, and they make me so happy. I'm spending 2 to 3 hours with these women, and I just love them, and I love the creations that they come up with or that we come up with together, and I'm getting ready to say to this goodbye to this set that I have on, and I just appreciate them. That's 1. 2, the weather has been great. I'm smelling the California flowers, like the night blooming jasmine, all that shit. Allergies are like a mess, but the smell of spring and summer coming makes me really happy. I don't know. I love every time I get into my car and drive it. I love my car. My family's healthy,
That's plenty. That's
going through
like,
it right now, and
yeah.
I have a lot to be grateful for. I acknowledge that, and I also struggle to think about what was an antidepressant. So,
I think the nails make total sense.
yeah,
It's such a, yeah. And I can't wait to see the new set.
me too. Me too.
Um,
How about you, friend?
my antidepressant was I went to see this storytelling show this week because a friend of mine was in it and he was fucking amazing. But there was another woman in the show who's this 85-year-old woman named Annie Corzin. She started acting when she was 55 years old. She had like no success. Then the pandemic happened. Her agents throughout her career had told her she's like too loud and too opinionated and talks too much. During the pandemic, she volunteered somewhere, met a 30-year-old girl who was like, "You're funny, you should do TikTok." She went on TikTok. She has 450,000 followers. She's like a TikTok sensation at age 85. She is 85 years old.
Wow, I love
And
it.
she's since written like 2 books
My God.
and it's all because she was going to go on Instagram and this 30-year-old girl was like, "No, you got to go on TikTok." She follows no one on TikTok. It's not like she engages and does everything that everyone says will make you rich and famous or whatever. And it was just like a lovely story. And she talked about how the point of her story was she wanted to perform on The Moth, which is this renowned storytelling show. And she would go and do storytelling anywhere she could and record it and send it and submit it to them. One time she did it at some venue that was like non-English speaking, and her sweet husband went to every engagement and she was like, "I suck, that was terrible." And he said, "No, they were just really listening." And she was like, "Oh my God, this is going nowhere." And she submitted for years to The Moth, and only if she heard anything, it was just like, "Thanks, we got it." And then one day she was like, "You know what? I'm 85 years old. Fuck this shit. I'm going to stop begging to be part of The Moth." And then, of course, as life would have it, a couple months later, they called and asked her to go on tour. So now she's going on like a 9-city tour with The Moth. So it just, to me, it just gave this whole new perspective on the other half of life. So she started a new career at 55, struggled for 30 years, then during the pandemic blew up on this platform that no one her age has ever heard of. And her lifelong dream of doing a story on The Moth ever has become a tour of multiple cities at age 85. It just sort of like blew my mind. And it did exactly what an antidepressant does, which was like rewired my brain chemistry to be like to
Totally.
consider possibilities of like joy and expansion and happiness, and in ways that I just it would never occur to me that such a life could be possible. So and nor did it to her. She just kept doing shit. So anyways,
Oh my God, I love that.
Annie
Oh, I
Corson.
love that.
Yeah, it was pretty
Annie
fucking cool.
Corson.
Hmm.
Okay, good for her. I love
Yep.
that. Oy, just reminds me that I always wanted to do The Moth, and I need to get back on that.
It's literally never too late.
I know. Well, clearly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, friend, I'm so glad I got to see you and we
me
got to
too.
this show, man. It really, you're right. It's like Real Housewives is the family, and this is the relationships. Bravo. This is the relationships portion of our lives. You're right. And it's
Yeah.
just really, ooh, damn. If you are feeling moved by Vanderpump Rules, or if you are feeling moved by our podcast, please rate, please review, please subscribe, please turn on your downloads, tell your friends, send the link. You can follow us on Instagram at A Therapeutic Dose. You can always email us at atherapeuticdose@gmail.com. And we thank you for hanging out with us for a long time and hope that whatever you're doing while you're listening to us is that we're helping. Are you folding laundry? Are you stuck in traffic? Are you on a walk? Are you feeling itchy and edgy and you need a distraction, you know?
Or isolated and disconnected. And like, hopefully,
Isolated and
maybe
disconnected.
we can
Yes.
ground you back in
Bring
like
some
life
connection.
is a universal
Yeah.
experience, lovely
If
and
you're
mortifying for all involved.
yes, if you're judging yourself about something you did or a choice you made, you know, like you're not alone. And I'm fortunate that I was able to share that beautiful Fred Rogers quote that you shared with me earlier this year. That, oh, what is it? The terror one?
Here, I'll look it
Net,
up.
net. Yeah, please look it up. It's so valuable. It's just the best. I'll vamp while you're looking it up. Mr. Rogers was, he was so kind to everybody. Talk about like, you know, they make that joke like, we're not worthy or protect so and so at all costs.
Oh, God.
Mr. Rogers was one of those people. Yes.
I just looked it up and I can't find it, but this is what came up instead. This is a Mr. Rogers quote. It says, "Love isn't a state of perfect caring. It is an active noun like struggle. To love someone is to strive to accept that person exactly the way he or she is right here and now." Everything he says makes me cry.
Oh my God.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Like struggle. Anyways,
Right.
I
Oh
can't
shit.
find it.
Where is the terror one? You know what? We'll do it. We'll post it to our Instagram. I have it on a post-it. The something about terror. The terror goes away when you share it with another person.
Yes.
Something like that.
I found it.
Okay, great.
What is shared loses the power of terror over us. What is shared loses the power of terror over us. That's all.
It's true. I mean, I guess that's like you're only as sick as your secrets, but it's, you
100%.
know, it's just, and here's my antidepressant, Margaret, is that like, I know that I can share with you anything and everything that is going on with me, regardless of how much I have my opinions on what it is. And I have never left feeling anything but like pure unconditional love from you. And that is so, that's priceless, for fuck's sake. That's the most valuable thing
And
in
that
this life.
goes both ways. And it means so much to hear you
So
say
glad,
that.
dude.
Like, yeah,
So glad.
I
Yes.
never hesitate. I don't have to hesitate to tell you the whole truth
Never.
about anything. And that's
Me
such a
either.
powerful gift. Like, find yourself a friend like Ramona. I don't know how we got to this place. It must have been years of building this level of trust, but
We
like,
were willing. We were
true,
willing to be vulnerable, and we were willing to, we knew we could, yes, luck, yes, the universe, but we were willing to show up and be vulnerable. And we knew that we were in a safe space with each other.
true.
You know, we went to the dairy for the yogurt. We didn't go to the hardware store. And so I know that I can come to you with my shopping list and you are the right store, you know?
Likewise and always. So,
Likewise,
yeah,
always, and I never take it for granted. It is a knee jerk when I think of you. My body physiologically relaxes and I feel like, you know how when you're doing a meditation, it's like picture yourself in a pink soft cloud. It's like you are my pink soft cloud, you know? Anyway,
I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like
I'm so
no
glad.
matter what, like anytime I talk to you, I know it's going to be okay, even though I don't have any
Yeah.
specifics for what that will ever look like. But I just know,
Yes. Oh
you
my
know,
God.
which
Yes.
is like that's more powerful than a specific
It's
because
true because that's the notion of faith and hope
hmm
is that you don't have the fucking specifics. Nothing's wrapped up. Nothing you don't fucking know and you still feel okay. I still
yeah,
feel okay when nothing has changed because you have loved me through it unconditionally.
same, same, same.
Wow. Okay. On
Well,
that note,
yes, everybody take good care of yourselves
yes,
and we'll talk next
we'll talk
week.
next week. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ramona and Margie are,
obviously,
not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.